just a little over a month from their season opening clash, Philadelphia Union 2 and Toronto FC 2 meet once more as the Union make the return trip across the border to the greater Toronto area. Welcome inside York Lions Stadium alongside our broadcast team. I'm Jake Griffith, glad to have you alongside us. Toronto FC 2, well, they've really found their stride over these last two matches, able to pick up a 5-0 win against NYC FC 2 prior to the brief international break, and then took a point off Eastern Conference leaders Crown Legacy last match week. For those efforts, they're rewarded with the team of the week in MLS Next Pro, paying them a visit. That's Philadelphia Union 2, who are coming off a massive 4-1 win against the Foxes of Carolina Core. Stas Korzeniowski gets a brace. Malik Jakupovic picks up his third goal of the season, as Philadelphia trotting out onto the pitch right now, looking to run their win total to 4 wins in 7 tries, including this fixture. They'll have to rely on the strength of their defense today. It's all about being narrow for Philadelphia in this 4-2-2-2 under manager Ryan Richter. But when they're on the attack, their big key will be isolating wingers and wanting to get in 1v1 situations. Richter telling me earlier this week that they respect the transitional ability of this Toronto FC 2 side, who has a couple of counterattacking goals to their credit. Really posed a lot of danger for Crown Legacy in counterattacking moments, but Philadelphia has one of the most biting presses in MLS Next Pro this season. A top 10 team in high ball recoveries, a top 10 team in field tilt, and they will look to lean on that, speed the young Reds up today, force them into mistakes in their own defensive half like they did in the season opener. It was Philadelphia who jumped out to a very early 1-0 lead in that opener back at the end of February. Toronto and Philadelphia moments away from kicking this contest off. Philadelphia, the all-time series slants their way. They've taken 7 of a possible last 9 points against the Young Reds. They lead the overall series 6 wins, 3 draws, and 13 all-time meetings. Toronto FC looking to get off the schneid at home against this Philadelphia Union team. Just 1 win in their last 4 tries dating back to 2023. But the month of April has been very advantageous for Gianni Cimini's team. They are unbeaten at home over the last 2 seasons in the month of April. Kept that streak going with the 3-3 draw against Crown Legacy. Toronto in their 4-3-3 making 3 personnel changes this match week. Despite the changes, one constant face, that is Fletcher Bank, the player of the week, reigning player of the week in MLS Next Pro. Yusri Rodolph is our center referee, clad in black. He sounds the whistle, the ball is rolling, and we are underway on this Friday night in MLS Next Pro between Philadelphia Union and Toronto FC. Trying to work this one forward and in toward the area. It's Jamari Nolan. Now Nolan going for goal, and that goes skipping off the side netting. Well, Jamari Nolan, he is a man well in form and trying to put Toronto FC on the front foot early. Had his first career brace last match against Crown Legacy. He's a player that Gianni Cimini and this Toronto FC side have been so high on the way he's performed. Cimini said he's sort of proof of concept of what this Toronto FC organization wants to do with their prospects, giving them that appropriate amount of time to develop. As Toronto FC steering this one back to Adisa de Rosario, making his 2nd consecutive MLS Next Pro appearance. Prior to the Crown Legacy fixture, had not appeared in a contest since the 2025 season. Has spent the lion's share of his 2026 training with the first team. Here is De Rosario looking to stretch things over the top. There was a defender that went down in Gio Sequeira, and instead, Piers Holbrook will corral that ball in. Over the top, trying to stretch things out, looking for Roof. That is John Roof, the young 16-year-old Philadelphia Union Academy man getting the start as part of that front two today alongside Nian Hassan. No Malik Jakupovic this evening in the first 11 on the pitch for Ryan Richter's team. And with no Stas Korzeniowski, who after a strong 2025 ended up earning himself a promotion to the first team and has spent majority of 2026 with Bradley Carnell and Philadelphia Union at the MLS level. That is 3 of the 4 goals they scored last match week, not with this team today. It has been a real rugged, defensive-minded approach this year for Philadelphia Union, as we do get a late whistle. Yusri Rodolph sounding that whistle and giving Toronto FC a free kick. Just 4 goals conceded by Philadelphia Union so far on the campaign. Defense has always been Philadelphia's calling card, but Ryan Richter has really molded this team into a sturdy, tough-nosed defensive unit to open this young MLS Next Pro campaign. Union 2 off the backs of that 4-1 win against Carolina Core. Scored 4 unanswered before giving up a late second half goal. Ryan Richter said it's the best performance of the season for Philadelphia Union 2, and they're trying to build off of it here today. Kellen LeBlanc going down. That will bring us to a stoppage here in Toronto, Ontario. One of the things Ryan Richter has really emphasized in my chats with him throughout the course of the season, he had mentioned at the top of the year that this team's gone a little bit younger. Some of those familiar faces like a Kevin Sullivan earning himself full-time promotion over to that Philadelphia Union side on the MLS level, but also consistent guys like Nick Pariano, CJ Olney, no longer with this club. And he did acknowledge that there were going to be some growing pains as they relied on some younger faces in and out of this lineup, as that one does go across the touchline. But he reflected this week back on the season opening match against Toronto FC back in February compared to where they are now. And he said that he's just seen such a high level of improvement, and he feels like they are such a different team than they were just 5 fixtures ago. This one lumped forward and nodded away by Stefan Kapoor, and now in his 3rd season with Toronto FC 2. Richter did say that looking back on that Toronto FC match back in February, he felt like the team was very organized defensively. They sat a little bit deeper, Toronto FC did, when they were on defense. Expecting them to not sit as deep today in this home tie for the Young Reds. Sequeira trying to race down this near channel. Couldn't get past Fletcher Bank, the 85th overall pick in the 2024 Super Draft. LeBlanc back on it. He'll tuck it inside. Berthe couldn't hang on to it. A recent acquisition is Mamutu Berthe. DeMar Dixon now. Brought over on the loan at the beginning of 2026, Dixon was, from Serie B side, Frosinone. Both Gianni Cimini, Armand Mohammadi, the assistant coach for Toronto FC, they've had nothing but positive things to say about what DeMar Dixon has brought to this Toronto FC attack. Called him energetic, lively, feels like he's been dynamic. He will be a focal point today. De Rosario trying to take the top off the defense, and instead that will careen all the way back down to his opposite netminder in Holbrook, who rolls it out. Toronto showing some real high pressure there, trying to force Philadelphia into some mistakes, and instead Philadelphia will earn themselves a throw-in. The aforementioned Sundstrom, who receives that toss back into play from Gio Sequeira. He was on the bench in the 2-1 win for Philadelphia Union over CF Montreal. He, alongside George Marks, Malik Jakupovic, they were all unused substitutes, but Sundstrom has appeared in a first-team fixture this season, one of 4 Philadelphia Union 2 players to appear with the first team across all competitions. Sequeira now looking for that cross in, canceled out by Fletcher Bank, who will turn it forward now, and there is Bossenberry, who goes down and draws a whistle. Anthony Bossenberry making his season debut last match against Crown Legacy. He's had such a difficult start to 2026. Had a spell of COVID earlier this year. Had some other health issues that prevented him getting on the pitch, but they are slowly but surely working him back to full fitness. Gianni Cimini, he called him such a crucial part of this team. You look at his numbers last year in his first season with Toronto FC, 23 appearances, 3 goal contributions, as they'll cut this one back. Timothy Fortier, and now switched out wide. It was Daquan Barrow making his season debut for Toronto FC. He gets it back, and now we'll set it back up to De Rosario. This is where a lot of opposition has struggled to break Philadelphia down when Union 2 are out of possession. They press in that pressing shape, that 2-3-2-3 pressing shape. At times it can shuffle around a little bit, and now Toronto having some real issues here corralling that ball in. We get to get a whistle though as man goes in. And Toronto FC taking some exception to that as Ruff went to ground. Keep an eye right here on the right side of your screen. Bossenberry trying to track that ball in. Roof going in, going to ground, and Toronto FC not thrilled with that. A little bit of a shove there at the end from Stefan Kapoor. Play back underway as Barrow will go forward with it. Young Reds, they've rallied these last 2 match weeks, able to take 4 of a possible 6 points. They opened winless in their first 3 fixtures of the season, but despite that, Gianni Cimini and this coaching staff were still very high on the team's performances. It's been a big emphasis on suffering together as a unit. They felt like they were close. The biggest issue that they had was just not taking their chances. Even in that match the last time they saw Philadelphia Union just a few weeks ago, they did have their looks at goal, 3 shots on target, but couldn't finish one. This one thumped ahead. Here's Bank. Bank on the left, looking for the cutback. Bossenberry out of position. Took a ricochet back to Fortier, who fires it back through the middle, and it's nodded away. Toronto try as they might. They couldn't hold on to it. Mateus DePaul, the 17-year-old midfielder out of the Philadelphia Union Academy, able to knock that ball loose. Been a solid last few weeks for the Philadelphia Union Academy. The U19s winning the Dallas Cup earlier this month. They ended up toppling Botafogo in penalties to claim the Dallas Cup. Just the 3rd American team to ever win that competition. The U16s at the GA Cup, a good showing, won their group, reached the round of 16, the knockout stage, ultimately dropping in penalties in that knockout stage fixture. Did beat Monterrey to claim their group to finish out group play. Here's Sequeira now. He'll loft this one into the mixer. Knotted down. LeBlanc off the volley goes high, and that's out. Very fluid in the build for Philadelphia. And this is what they want to see from Kellen LeBlanc. Ryan Richter had said at the start of the season that he and his coaching staff, they've challenged Kellen LeBlanc to not just be a good Philadelphia Union 2 player, but fulfilling that goal. They know he can be one of the best MLS Next Pro players. He has all the tools, this coaching staff says, and they feel like he is primed for a breakout season in 2026. LeBlanc, the team's leader in chances created with 5, nearly putting 1 on target. Errant distribution from De Rosario, and that will set Philadelphia up with a throw-in. Sequeira trying to step past Fletcher Bank. Looking for the give and go, back to Bank via Bossenberry. Turned away defensively, now dispossessed is Toronto, and we get another whistle. A heavy collision over here on this near touchline. Right here at the bottom of your screen, Berthe colliding with Micah Chisholm. You saw Berthe while he was on the ground tapping the knee as if to signify a bit of knee-on-knee contact. Never a good feeling. Both players, though, back to their feet, and play will continue on. Kapoor has to track that one back down. Once again, the young Reds, they don't like their options over on that right-hand side. They'll try to change the point of the attack here, but some real issues breaking down this press from Philadelphia Union. For Ryan Richter and Philadelphia Union, too, as a coaching staff, one of the things Richter had emphasized earlier this week was it's not just about constantly pressing. You'll expend a lot of energy. They do press a lot, Philadelphia does, when out of possession, as they'll steer this back to Pierce Holbrook. But they've really tried to preach, especially these last few weeks for Philadelphia, understanding those right moments when to press. He said his message to the team, you don't have to chase every ball, but you need to do it in an organized structure. And now, a bit of a frantic moment here. Holbrook under some duress, has to get rid of it. Falls to LeBlanc, looking to dribble past Bryce Bonneau, the former Huntsville City midfielder, now in his first year with Toronto FC 2. Sundstrom, some space to move, wanting to play this in behind that back line. Roof, try as he might, couldn't race that one down. We do get a whistle from Yusri Rudolph, who wants to have a chat with Fletcher Bank. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC 2. Rudolph wanted to have a chat with both Bank and Gio Sequeira, and that chat finally over. Laid back off to De Rosario. Pressure collapsing in here on Kapoor and Toronto FC. They have to do something with it. De Rosario now at that end line. Quite the mistake for Adisa De Rosario. Let it roll across that byline on the give back from Kapoor, and it will be a corner for Philadelphia Union 2. Not a mistake you want to see from your starting netminder. Just got a little too casual with it at that end line. This gives Philadelphia Union an opportunity off a set piece where they have been so dangerous. Already scored twice off corners in 2026. Gladstone over on this near flag. Gladstone drops it into a crowd headed toward goal, but over the bar and out. It's a good service here from Gladstone. Able to find the head of a teammate streaking right through. Just couldn't put that one on the target and truly test De Rosario. Now a giveaway here, a near giveaway that is. De Rosario able to tidy things up for Toronto FC. It all ends with a turnover near that halfway line as Sequeira will pick it up for Philadelphia. Roof was able to get a touch on it at the midfield line, but one too many defenders around, and Toronto will reclaim possession. Just 2 outright wins in their last 6 home fixtures for the Young Reds, dating back to the 2025 season. Bank, we're going to chase that ball down, cannot. That is well defended by Finn Sundstrom. Ryan Richter had nothing but positive things to say earlier this week about the play of Finn Sundstrom. Brought him in December, this organization did, via the transfer from NCFC of the USL. Richter said he's in a really good spot here with Philadelphia to continue that professional development. He trains fully with the first team, does his match prep with the second team. Trying to become that consistent, complete performer week in, week out with that second team, this Philadelphia Union 2 side. Here is Sundstrom, turning away from Bank, and will guide this back over to Pierce Holbrook. First appearance in net this season for the former Navy midshipman. And now we get a whistle from our center referee. Now more whistles, and Yusri Rudolph reaching for a card, and will show it to Anthony Bossenberry. Bossenberry, the first man to go into the book. This is what preceded that card being handed out. And you see right there, LeBlanc trying to restart play. Bossenberry just right there. The restart ball goes banking off of his boots, and he is shown a card. But it is turned over after the restart, and now we get another whistle here. Been some real awkward moments to start this contest out for both teams. It's been somewhat physical for just 20 minutes deep into a contest. Solid distribution from De Rosario. Able to loft that ball around Sequeira. Now here's Bank, cuts it back inside to Bossenberry, who steps in. A bit too heavy there. And keeper will corral it for Philadelphia Union. Mentioned earlier in discussing Finn Sundstrom, Ryan Richter talking about players being in good spots for player development. This Philadelphia Union 2 organization, it's something Richter has talked about, his relationship with first team manager Bradley Carnell, that synergy that exists within this Philadelphia club. And Richter says that it does help development significantly. At the end of the day, he acknowledges his job, yes, is to win matches, try to get this team into good positions to be that last team standing in MLS Next Pro, but they want to ultimately be a player development factory, which they have historically been. Philadelphia Union 2 has. Crafty pass back to LeBlanc, and now building here is Union 2. Jaquan Barrow coming over to muscle the Philadelphia man down, and ultimately skipping out of play for an Adisa De Rosario goal kick. Dixon able to hold things up for a moment, and now here's Bank over on the right-hand side now. Spent most of this first half plying his craft on the left, but Johnny Cimini because he's the real engine of this team. They like to move him around. Now funneled back forward, whipped toward goal. Holbrook trying to get a fingertip to that, ends up falling into his own side netting. He did get a finger to it, and it'll stay here for a corner. It's a dangerous ball back in toward Piers Holbrook. Toronto FC, they haven't had the same luck in scoring off of corners as their opposition tonight, still seeking their first corner goal of 2026. This is their 21st corner of the season. In swinging ball, first contact made by Philadelphia. Now shoved down. Neon Hassan taking a tumble, which draws a whistle from Yusri Rudolph. Griffin now forward. Fortier tries to step past one, was successful there. The pass, though, after the fact, not online. Union 2, they've done such a good job so far in these first 23 minutes of holding their shape so well defensively. It was something that Gianni Cimini identified of this Philadelphia team, acknowledging that they're always so organized defensively. It makes it hard to really do anything when in the attack. Goal tonight for Toronto. Continue to find ways to try to soften this well-organized defense up. That won't do it. A telegraph pass as Sequeira reads it all the way. Ultimately deflected out by Micah Chisholm, and it will stay here. Philadelphia will have a throw in. Cimini did say that despite the 1-0 scoreline in the season opener between these two clubs, Toronto walked away feeling pretty happy with the pitch control, the field tilt. Thought they did a good job of controlling the middle third of the pitch at Subaru Park in Chester, PA. Sequeira trying to flash across back in. Instead, it's knocked out by Bossenberry, and it will be another throw in for Gio Sequeira. This portion of the match is brought to you by LG, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. Rafael Uzcategui wearing the captain's armband tonight. Played it back to Holbrook, ultimately worked over to Sequeira. Getting Gio Sequeira high into the attack like they have so far tonight. It's such a crucial piece for Philadelphia when in possession. Helps add a level of dynamicness to this attack. There was a collision in the middle of the park. That sent John Roof down, and Roof still seated on this turf surface. Keep an eye on the right side of your screen, right there. Roof and Dequan Barrow both jockeying for some space, and Roof the worse for wear after Barrow takes him down. There was a whistle from Yusri Rudolph for a foul, which sets Philadelphia up with a free kick. Set piece is an integral part of the identity of the Philadelphia Union organization. That trickles down to Philadelphia Union too. Ryan Richter's called this a large part of being a first-team player and a big part of the game today. LeBlanc will lob this one into a crowd. First contact there from Toronto, but the rebound still free in front, turning, firing toward goal. Out comes De Rosario. Has to sprawl on top of it. Well done on the effort from Neon Hassan. Able to get that shot off. Sequeira will nod this back toward Piers Holbrook. Berthe, acquired in March from the Mali Premier Division. That takes a ricochet here. Sequeira, out comes De Rosario. Has to hack that one away clear. An emergency situation for Toronto FC. Cleaned up by their keeper. Well read by Adisa De Rosario. Able to turn that one out of play. Otherwise, had he not gotten to that one, Sequeira would have either been in on goal or could have easily chipped De Rosario. Here's Sundstrom now. Looking to find LeBlanc. Found him initially, but Micah Chisholm ends up moving it across that touchline, and Philadelphia progressing nicely down this right-hand side. Deep in toward the final third is where Sequeira will have the throw. Tossed in top of the area, able to find DePaul. Now lobbed back down. That is where De Rosario will scoop things up. Closing in on a half hour elapsed in this contest. No action in terms of goals, but both teams have had their looks at the target. Haven't been able to put an effort on target. Bonneau. Good ball from Dixon, just chipped it out wide, but even better defending there from Jordan Griffin. Played a ton of minutes last year, Griffin did. Over 1,000 across 19 appearances. Was an important part of the back line for Philadelphia Union 2 as we get a whistle from Yusri Rudolph again. Toronto, they have been the team that they spent majority of this half in the attack, 58% possession, completed just about 40 of their 120 passes in the Philadelphia Union defensive half. Dixon looking to track this one in, and does. Got that service off, but it goes sailing over the bar and out of play. No real danger presented by that. Cross cut out by Toronto FC. Philadelphia will have the throw in. Union 2, 3 wins in their first 5 matches of the season entering this contest. The lone loss, a loss at home against Connecticut United, the newest MLS Next Pro team, an independent club out of the Nutmeg State. But they have an opportunity, should they get a win today. It would be 4 wins in their first 6 games of a campaign for the first time since joining MLS Next Pro. But to give you an idea just how consistent Ryan Richter and Philadelphia Union 2 have been. Won 3 of their first 4 matches last year, and that consistency even predates Richter. They've won 3 matches in their first 5 contests of a campaign, 3 of the last 4 seasons. They've been a consistent perennial playoff face in the postseason, reaching the Eastern Conference Final last year before falling to eventual champions Red Bull New York. That consistency factor, being the same team week in and week out, it's something, a message that Richter and this coaching staff, they preach to Philadelphia Union. It's more about what they do internally. They have the utmost respect, of course, for their competition each week, but they try their hardest to be adaptable, yes, but stick to their core tenets. Don't let negative situations stress them out too much. Trying to be as even keel as possible. This portion of the match is brought to you by Chevrolet, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. As Berthe comes up with it and will whip it out wide. Now an effort toward goal, won't make its way through. Blocked by Daquan Barrow. It was Gladstone who got the shot off. Fortier into space. Acres of room here for Bossenberry, trying to roll it in behind. Here's Bank. Bank, the cutback. In behind everyone, crashing the net. That ability to transition quickly into the attack was something that Gianni Cimini felt like was a big takeaway from their draw against Crown Legacy. He said they looked at the deeper numbers in terms of analytics, and they felt like they were the better attacking team on the day against the league's hottest offense in Crown Legacy. Union 2 inching higher and higher into the attack. Muskategi looking for support. Felt the pressure there from DeMar Dixon. Still kept alive initially by Toronto. Official says play on, and here is DeMar Dixon on it. Nolan tried to whip that one out wide. Was looking for Bossenberry. Meanwhile, Nolan was taken down, and we get a whistle, and perhaps more here from our center referee. We've already seen one card handed out going against Anthony Bossenberry. And now we get another yellow against Philadelphia Union 2. Right here in the middle of your screen, Nolan colliding with Finn Sundstrom, and Sundstrom will go into the book. De Rosario now looking ahead, trying to find Fletcher Bank, who has been marked with at least 2 Philadelphia Union 2 defenders so far, but Bank still on it. He'll cut this one, back post, and it's put in. An own goal for Philadelphia Union will open the scoring. 1-0 Toronto. Just a defensive lapse for Philadelphia Union 2. A rare mistake at the back for the visitors from Chester, PA. Bank able to carve a bit of an opening and get that cross off. And that is just what they love, this club does, from Fletcher Bank. Never gives up on any play. Gianni Cimini at times has described him as the real engine of this team. He's breathed so much life into Toronto since joining this club after finishing up his college days. And at the restart, it's the Young Reds striking first, going up a goal for their now 3rd consecutive match. Looking for the response. Roof was looking for the whistle. And Toronto FC was looking to connect that pass. Instead, a change of possession will occur via the throw-in as Mateus DePaul, former Philadelphia Union U16 man, puts it back into play. Muskategi, who is credited with the own goal, Union 2's captain tonight, just in an awkward place, was trying to clear that ball away, instead cleared it into his own net. De Rosario goes forward with it. Too heavy of a touch there from DeMar Dixon. And now right in front of Usury Rodolph, Mateus DePaul is crashed into. DePaul laboring just a bit, back to his feet quickly, but you see right there, trying to flex that right foot. DePaul making his 3rd start of the season, 6th overall appearance, as that ball through the middle will instead roll back to the feet of Adisa De Rosario. Despite finding themselves down a goal, courtesy of the mistake, Philadelphia Union, too, they have generated some good options offensively, 5 total shots, and now here they are again in toward goal, looking for the whistle, and we do get a whistle. Union 2 adamant that that should be a penalty. Nihan Hassan even saying as much as he went down inside the area, but Yusri Rodolph bringing it back out. Rodolph saying the contact began outside the 18. Now look at it again. Here's Hassan on the turn. You see the bear hug there from Daquan Barrow. That contact did initially start outside the 18, but it wasn't until Hassan had reached the inside of the penalty area that he ultimately went down. And it was Kategi still pleading his case for Philadelphia Union 2. It's important to remember that MLS Next Pro does have only the captain rule, where during key moments only the man wearing the captain's armband is allowed to speak with the official. A real promising opportunity here for Philadelphia Union, just a step outside this 18, as Kellen LeBlanc will shadow over top of it, as does the young Tyler Gladstone, future Indiana Hoosier. It'll be LeBlanc going for it and sailing it just high. In the melee of all of that prior to LeBlanc's free kick, Daquan Barrow was shown yellow. So that is now two players for Toronto FC who have been shown yellow, as LeBlanc's effort going high. Well hit, but just carried up his foot a little bit. Coming up on the final 5 minutes plus added time of this opening 45. As Pierce Holbrook will scoop that one up. Union 2 finding themselves down a goal here on the road, courtesy of the own goal, but over these last 5 or so minutes, despite giving up that own goal, they have been the aggressors offensively, as Fortier tripped up. And now LeBlanc voicing his displeasure with the assistant referee. It's been a tight whistle here in this first 45 minutes. Both teams at times have struggled to adapt a bit to it. Play is back underway. Sequeira able to dispossess Fletcher Bank, now trying to tightrope the touchline. Officials say he did just cross that near touchline, so it will be a throw in for Toronto FC 2. Early on in this contest, Philadelphia Union, they were attacking when out of possession high up on Toronto FC. This is a staple of what they love to do. They want to get Adisa De Rosario involved in their build-outs, or whoever is in net. Typically, prior to De Rosario making his season debut against Crown Legacy, it had been Zakaria Knuckley, but they love to get the keeper involved in their build-outs. We've seen De Rosario not shy about going long. Ryan Richter had keyed in on that for Philadelphia, understanding that they need to be aggressive while also making sure to keep those lines tight. They don't want to give up any space or let Toronto have free runners in behind, but the way Toronto has moved the ball around in this end of things these last 5, 6, 7 minutes, Philadelphia hasn't been able to be as aggressive with that press as they would like to be. Uzcategui comes up with the takeaway. And now here's DePaul. Shoveled ahead, Sequeira. Gio Sequeira, one of 3 players from Philadelphia Union 2 who spent time with the first team during their CONCACAF Champions Cup run earlier this year. They're able to win a throw-in for Philadelphia Union 2. Here's Sundstrom now. Sundstrom, he'll go forward with it. Sequeira trying to weight that ball in. Deflected away by Kapoor, struck off the second effort and out for a De Rosario goal kick. Fortier. Bad giveaway at the back for Toronto. Some issues here as Gladstone jumps in front of it. Now Gladstone at the byline, able to cross that one in. Left it a bit short though. The issues continuing here for Toronto FC when building out of their own end. Down goes Rafael Uzcategui, and it will be a free kick for Philadelphia here in the waning minutes of this opening half. Three attacking half free kicks in this first 45 for Philadelphia as LeBlanc touches it up. Here's Gladstone to LeBlanc, looking for that combination in that half space on the far side of the pitch. Instead, coded decently well defensively by Toronto. Uzcategui goes down. The advantage is played here. LeBlanc leading the way. LeBlanc now, he's taken down by Fortier, and Sequeira returning the favor. It has been a physical first 45 minutes. Safe to say, no love lost between Philadelphia and Toronto. Fortier trying to lock down that outside. Throwing LeBlanc down, and Sequeira going right back at Timothy Fortier. If you're just joining us, 35th minute own goal is the difference maker for the Young Reds so far in this first half. As De Rosario's distribution at the restart goes pinballing out of play.
Indicated there will be
2 minutes of added time at the end of this first 45. Sundstrom will cut it inside. Bank able to scoop that one up, and now De Rosario caught in no man's land here. Had to give it up to Bossenberry quickly. Played forward, the offside flag will come up. Jamari Nolan just not able to stay on the right side of that restraining line. Jamari Nolan, not a player you want to get a lot of opportunities to race in behind you. The CONCACAF World Cup qualifier from the U17 group, player of the qualifiers for the Jamaican U17 national team. LeBlanc trying to turn on that ball. Falls to Sequeira instead. The aforementioned Nolan, 6 goal contributions en route to best player of the qualifiers honors for the Jamaican U17s. 4 goals, had a brace against the Cayman Islands earlier this year back in February. We do get a whistle again from Yusri Rudolph, and De Rosario will have the clearance to restart things. Still yet to face a shot, De Rosario in this first half. 6 shots, but none on target for Philadelphia Union 2. In fact, neither team has a shot on target so far. Glancing header falls to Fletcher Bank now. Bossenberry, Fortier funnels it back forward. Here's Fletcher Bank, tucked back inside, courtesy of Bonneau, and Bank knocked off the ball. There is the whistle right on cue from Yusri Rudolph. We have reached the half north of the border in Toronto, and our score at the half, 1-0, Toronto FC 2. Coming up in our halftime show, our latest club hosts its first home match, and we celebrate some of the awesome women who make MLS Next Pro work. But first, we take a short break.
Boys hear sentiment, flow tastes sweet like cinnamon. Open up doors, I'm a gentleman. View top floor, I'm still sticking ahead of them. Running on fumes and adrenaline. Do what I do best, can rush in like a roulette. You can't name a better duet. Don't ask questions, trying to figure out what sound. Don't worry about what next, just wanna know what's next. Man, I say it so loud, don't worry about what next. Just know we got now, oh yes. Man, I say it oh so proud. Don't worry about what next, just know we got now.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Welcome back to Toronto. It's time to celebrate Women's History Month, and we have no shortage of female voices and leaders within the ranks of MLS Next Pro. Let's meet two very influential women in this feature.
Representation matters. I guess that's why you're seeing my face here today. It's something I typically shy away from, but I think seeing women matters, especially during Women's History Month. The opportunity for women in a male-dominated sport can, and should happen. And it doesn't have to just be at the ownership level.
Leadership is not a title, it's a state of mind. And you really don't have to wait for permission to be a leader. Leadership can look very different. It doesn't have a defined profile. Carolina Core is just a soccer team, but it's also more than that. It's a part of this ecosystem of creating access to opportunity and jobs. This place is special, but we've lost a lot of jobs when manufacturing's went overseas. And when opportunity leaves a place, so does the sense of pride and so does the sense of belonging. And Carolina Core FC is bringing that back. This club is the community's club. This belongs to the great Carolina Core. And so my responsibility is to make sure that this club is a club for everybody, that they see themselves in this, and that I'm leading with conviction in what we stand for.
I think our mission at CT United has been that we provide access and opportunity. We've started with that with the Academy, removing barriers of payment, and we found a wealth of talent here in the state of Connecticut as well as its surrounding cities and towns. Right now our state is pretty much split, and so you have many people that for any kind of live professional entertainment, they're going to New York or they're going to Massachusetts. Why not have that here in the state of Connecticut and provide something that they can have that's family friendly and fun?
What success is for me with this club is this is a place for access to opportunity. That if you come to this club, this is a launch pad for your career.
We want to be competitive on the field. I love winning, but that's on and off the pitch. We have to be successful in making sure that we can galvanize fans behind it, and we have to be successful in making something that is meaningful for the community.
And another moment that I just love each match is at the end of the game, our players stay on the pitch afterwards, and anybody can go down and get autograph signs. And to see the young fans be able to interact with our players is one of my favorite moments.
Women's History Month I think it's really about representation, and I think it is learning what has happened before, creating opportunities for forward momentum and progression. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done, and that's not just through the lens of soccer, but I think making opportunities, that's what Women's History Month is all about, and I think it's recognizing that fact and making sure that we celebrate those moments.
Welcome to the 2024 MLS Next Pro Pick Your Opponent, or PYO as the kids are calling it. To be able to pick your opponent, if you finish at the top of your conference, you should have that right. And we're giving those teams here that exactly. We now turn the page to Philadelphia Union 2. Who is going to be your selection?
We wanted to pick someone that our fans love to hate and could get behind the game, but unfortunately Red Bull wasn't available for this call, so we went with New York City FC.
The #1 overall seed North Texas would surprise us by not selecting a conventional pick.
Vancouver has been a very good season. They play really well, but we want to try ourselves.
It is time to kick off the 2024 MLS Next Pro playoffs. We start today with the conference quarterfinals in the Eastern Conference.
We welcome you to the Western Conference playoffs in MLS Next Pro.
The Eastern Conference quarterfinals continue.
The stage is set for the postseason. A terrific matchup on hand today.
Welcome back. As you just saw, that all-access feature from last season was nominated for a Webby. Good luck to the video team as judging is now underway, and winners will be announced sometime in the next month. Last Saturday, CT United hosted its first MLS Next Pro match. Let's revisit this feature on the league's newest member.
This is Connecticut's newest club, built for the entire state, not just one city.
Connecticut's a pretty culturally diverse state. Doesn't really have one major city. There's a bunch of small cities that are pretty close to each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the founding partner of Connecticut Sports Group, Mr. Andre Swanston.
I remember feeling like, okay, it's on now, because talk is cheap. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I'm going to own the team, and da-da-da. You hear that all day, every day, everywhere. And so it kind of, you know, it was late 2023 when kind of everything went through. We knew it was approved and it was going to happen. And it was just kind of, Michelle and I were like, all right, okay, it's on now, like, let's go.
I want to thank all of you who have made today possible and who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to bring these ideas to life, including the entire team from the Connecticut Sports Group.
Before the first professional match, the foundation was already in motion. In 2024, CT United launched its professional academy.
We started our academy first because we wanted to, one, make CT United tangible to the community and so they could see it, touch it, feel it, that we're here.
One of my first conversations with Andre and Michelle, when I met with them and we really started discussing, you know, their vision and what they wanted for their football team in the state of Connecticut, the ambitions, they're breaking down the barriers for giving kids opportunities to play in the academy. Once you have that idea, then I think it becomes pretty clear in terms of now bringing in the right people in your staff and to start to identify the right type of players you want to come in.
It starts in MLS Next, and it continues in MLS Next Pro.
I think we're headed in the right direction. You know, we have a good group of guys. Coaching staff is alive and ready. And I think we're just pushing towards, you know, the start of the season and looking to have a good season.
We knew that we wanted a team that was entertaining. We wanted a team that was going to dominate with the ball and against the ball. A team that looked to play forward. A team that is aggressive.
They're entertaining players, man. I mean, I'm really excited being in the league for 4 years and seeing the group that we're gathering together makes me happy.
What the ownership and the sporting director laid out to me, we had a couple of calls before I decided to join the team. It was very ambitious. I like what they have planned for the team, and I like the future, and I want to be part of this project. We have a lot of young players, so I know we're going to be very energetic. We're all here to learn, to get better, and you know, when you're young, your brain is like a sponge.
So, here's the standard.
Connecticut is used to winning. We've got to show them like we're playing for real, like we're not messing around. And then also I think with being the only black owner in the league, like I'm not losing, right? Like I refuse to make it seem like I can't build something that can compete on the level.
Back in Toronto, Ontario, closing in on the start of half number 2 between the Young Reds of Toronto FC and Philadelphia Union. 1-0 for the home side through 45 minutes of play. A look at our recent scores around MLS Next Pro. Things got underway on the Sunday, April 12th. That closed out the last match week. Things picked back up on Monday with an Eastern Conference clash. New York City and FC Cincinnati playing on that Monday fixture. FC Cincinnati picking up the first win of the Semi Castellanos era. We talked earlier in the first half about Philadelphia Union, their big, momentous 4-1 win against Carolina Core, who are left searching for their first victory of 2025. And Red Bull New York, too, well, some of their heavy hitters like Julian Hall, like an Audrey Mehmeti, they've graduated on to the first team environment, along with their head coach, Michael Bradley, who's taken over at that MLS level. But the wins keep coming for the Baby Bulls of Red Bull New York to a win 2-1 on the road against New England Revolution 2. As for our contest, let's get you caught up to speed with how we got to the halftime break with our first half highlights. And despite just one goal scored, well, both teams had plenty of looks at goal. 7 combined shots between the teams, 6 resting with Philadelphia. But early, it was Toronto FC asking the questions. And when I say early, I mean just a few ticks of the clock into the contest. Jamari Nolan going off the side netting. And that really set the stage for the first 10 to 15 minutes to be dominated by Toronto FC asking questions. That one pawed over the bar by Pierce Holbrook. But then Philadelphia, they would start to grow into things, specifically Gio Sequeira, who's provided a lot of width, a lot of dynamicness over on that right-hand side in those 1v1 situations. This one thumped over the top. Verticality's been a theme in the first half for Toronto, trying to soften up this rigid defense. It's Fletcher Bank dancing through defenders, putting it toward the goal, and it's ultimately fired into their own net by Philadelphia. That is the only goal scored through 45 minutes. We'll head back to break. When we return, the ball will get back rolling in Toronto. 1-0 Toronto FC.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro.
The unique energy of a Sunday night. Ideal for calm music, whispers, stargazing, reflection, and a relaxed environment. Sunday nights were made for this.
Back in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, moments away from the start of half number 2 between Toronto FC and Philadelphia Union. Along with our broadcast team, I'm Jake Griffith. Glad to have you with us. First half saw a blend of physicality, of yellow cards to the tune of 3 total handed out by our center referee, Yusri Rudolph. It also only saw 1 goal. Toronto trying to hold on to this slim 1-0 margin. Trying to run their unbeaten stretch to 3 consecutive matches. Meanwhile, Philadelphia Union unbeaten in their last 2 fixtures. A draw against Red Bull New York, a win against Carolina Core, trying to extend it to 3 unbeaten for Union 2. Yusri Rudolph sounds the whistle. Philadelphia touches things up, and we're back underway. Toronto FC making 1 change as Spencer Sappleton will come on and make his professional debut. Dequan Barrow exiting the contest. Deep bench tonight for Toronto FC, a heavy academy bench as well. Worked forward, Nolan in an offside position, and the flag will come up. Jamari Nolan found himself offside a few times in that opening half. However, still did well for himself to help create some offense for Toronto FC too, who had just 1 shot through the opening 45 minutes. They spent a lot of time in the first 15 minutes in the Philadelphia Union defensive half. Now a turnover here, counter quickly developing. It's Nolan going for it. Was knocked off the ball and didn't get a true effort toward goal. It'll go out for a Philadelphia Union throw. Edwin Omorgbe, the 17-year-old Toronto FC Academy man, getting the start, his 3rd of the season at the right back spot tonight. He's played well on that right back side. The throw back in, it's turned over promptly though, and a change of possession will occur via the throw in. Toronto on the move, steered forward. Here's Dixon trying to dance past a defender, and instead, Mamutu Berthe taking down DeMar Dixon, and Berthe shown yellow for those efforts. This is what DeMar Dixon brings, craftiness. He's so shifty. They feel like he has such a nose for goal. He's so good on the ball as well, in the words of Gianni Cimini. And it put Berthe in a disadvantageous spot. Not much you can do there, but if you're Ryan Richter, you don't want to see another player in that crucial defensive structure be handed out another yellow. Sundstrom, the center back, carrying a yellow here in this second half, and now Berthe is as well. An opportunity here for Toronto, 3 minutes into the second 45 minutes. Bonneau charges. Bonneau blocked by the wall. It falls back to him. They'll switch it out wide, trying to find O'Morgbe. O'Morgbe couldn't get the touch off, and it'll roll out for another Philadelphia Union throw-in. Philadelphia Union 2 in that first half, they, especially in the final 15 minutes of the half, had a lot of trips down the pitch that showed real promise. But it was when they got into that final third that they were lacking just a little bit of that offensive creativity they've had the last few weeks. A lot of that, you have to imagine, can be attributed to no Malik Jakupovic. But now here they are trying to play Gladstone through. Instead it was Griffin. It fell back to him, trying the crafty back heel, and he and Neon Hassan not on the same page. Hassan ended up cutting back inside, and Griffin was expecting him down that interior channel. Thumped ahead by Piers Holbrook, worked back down by Toronto, and now nodded forward. Hassan had it for a moment, but now cleaned up for Toronto FC by O'Morgbe. We get a whistle for a stoppage from our center referee. Offside flag had come up, and Philadelphia Union trying not to waste any of these precious seconds. They want to move quickly with it. They quickly turn it over. Fortier handcuffed. Griffin able to pop that ball free. And now here's Sequeira charging ahead, wanting to lift it forward to Kellen LeBlanc. Pinned back deep is Toronto FC, and this, you have to imagine, is where Philadelphia Union, exactly how they want to have Toronto, back on their heels, deep in their own end of things. Ahead, Sundstrom. Gonna slip this one back through to Hassan. It was out of his reach. The passing through large stretches of this contest, while Philadelphia has had a good share of the ball, they haven't been able to connect consistently enough of their passes to string together dangerous enough opportunities. Now it's something developing here potentially for Toronto. Going crashing down is DeMar Dixon, grabbing at his right knee. And Jordan Griffin will be shown yellow. It was the pass back toward Uzcategui. It was out of his reach, and it put Jordan Griffin in a tough spot, having to double back and try to chase down DeMar Dixon and prevent him from getting it. Ultimately, Griffin going into the book for that foul, and Toronto FC already 7+ minutes into this second half. Their second dangerous attacking half free kick. This one much closer from where they had just minutes ago. Fletcher Bank has had the hot hand lately. All 7 of his goal contributions on the season have come in the last 3 matches. Bank lobs it out wide, nodded toward goal, and blocked off the line by Holbrook. Holbrook trying to jumpstart the rush here for Philadelphia with a good distribution out. LeBlanc, good ball ahead, looking for Hassan. Miscommunication there between teammates. Bank The clearance from De Rosario went deflecting off of his back. Philadelphia Union, they will make their first 2 changes of the night. William Ferreira will come on, and he will be joined by Oscar Benitez. Tyler Gladstone will trot off. Strong shift turned in for Gladstone, the United States U16 national teamer. Oh, Morgbe goes down. We get more whistles here. Play back underway off the foul and the stoppage. De Rosario out wide. Bossenberry, dangerous pass back toward Fortier. And Oscar Benitez jumping in front to come up with the interception. DePaul was trying to touch that one forward. Benitez sticks the foot in, crashes right into DeMar Dixon, who's had a real penchant in this contest for earning whistles against Philadelphia Union. This portion of the match is brought to you by BMO, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. LeBlanc will be shown a whistle from Yusri Rudolph. Philadelphia, through large stretches of this contest, they have, especially since they went down in the 35th minute, continued to try to push, been aggressive, trying to win that ball back. Patience was something that Ryan Richter had identified as a key to the match tonight for this Philadelphia Union team because of the defensive organization and the inflexibility defensively of Toronto. They hold their shape well in that mid and low block, and they do it well. Nolan will come up with it. Richter said that his team, they were going to have to understand that when in possession, they just needed to show a great deal of patience. This Toronto FC side, they're a team that they can get 10 players in behind the ball and just lock down and become very tough to break down at times. Now they go forward with it. Worked ahead, Fletcher Bank trying to stay onside, and he cannot as the flag will come up. Matthias DePaul restarts play. Here's Finn Sundstrom. Benitez forward. Too heavy of a touch there from Gio Sequeira on the right. Sequeira, though, has been an important player tonight for Philadelphia Union from that fullback spot. Been on the ball 55 times, 5 passes into the final third, and has a couple of defensive contributions as well. He's a real do-it-all man for Philadelphia Union, too, as Uzcategui receives the throw in. We get a whistle again. This one will go against Bryce Bonneau. Because of the amount of fouls we've seen and the amount of stoppages we've seen, it has created moments where both teams have struggled to get into that offensive rhythm that they want to try to be in. Snugging that stripe is Gio Sequeira and Philadelphia Union 2. They'll earn the throw in. Philadelphia still looking to find that offensive rhythm as Uzcategui will carry it into the attacking half. Ferreira will have the throw. William Ferreira, former Philadelphia Union Academy man. It's so great to talk to Ryan Richter about player development because you can tell it's so near and dear to his heart. He really lights up when he gets a chance to talk about these players that have progressed through the Philadelphia Union Academy, now showcasing their skill set in MLS Next Pro. Richter, he's very familiar with a lot of them. He was the former Union U15 head coach. Won an MLS Next Cup as Ferreira. Oh, what a ball in from Ferreira. Turning on it is Hassan. It falls back to him, the cutback. Ferreira pulling the strings now. DePaul trying to dance through defenders and instead turns it over, and it forces a clearance away. That's a skillful ball in from William Ferreira. The toe poke trying to just curl that around a defender on the entry pass. Early ball in, a bit too early. Ruff not going to get to it, and sent tumbling down by Adisa de Rosario as John Ruff looks to Yusri Rudolph for an explanation. Play restarted. Appleton gives it back over to De Rosario. Philadelphia starting to find that aggressiveness again in their press. Nolan sent careening down, thumped up ahead. A foot race here as Kategi will get to it and cut it back over to Pierce Holbrook. First appearance for Pierce Holbrook last season. 15 saves, 7 goals against. Stopped about 70% of the shots he faced in 2025 and also kept 5 clean sheets. This Philadelphia Union team a season ago, they were one of the stoutest defensive units in MLS Next Pro. Looking for Ferreira, cut out by Chisholm. Here's Fortier wheeling around. Nolan tripped up initially, was able to stay on his feet. Now he does go down. Collision. Jordan Griffin down, as is Omorgbe. Toronto, they'll switch it out wide. Here's Fletcher Bank. De Rosario trying to help Toronto FC break through. And unsuccessful in that venture. That is where Holbrook will scoop things up. Rolled back out to Sundstrom. Philadelphia preparing another change. What would be their third of a possible 5 on the evening. Looking for something to just breathe life into this offense. Sequeira able to slide to keep that one alive. Ultimately knocked out of play by Chisholm to disrupt the buildup. Philadelphia will have the throw in, but first Union 2 will make that change, and it is Eddie Davis. John Ruff, the academy man, will come off, and Davis will make his return to Philadelphia Union 2 for the first time this season after playing 26 matches, 10 goal contributions last year. The homegrown chipped in. Play back underway. Here's Ferreira. Ferreira will slide it inside over to LeBlanc. LeBlanc looking, able to connect with Sequeira. Back to LeBlanc. Uzcategui. He'll work it ahead. Fajeda stands up across to the back post. De Rosario is there, bobbled it, and ultimately will corral it back in. Ryan Richter had said Philadelphia would need to pick their spots when pressing today. They've started to pick those spots well here in this second half. And they do earn themselves a free kick as a result of it. This press paying off for Philadelphia, causing some issues for Toronto FC when trying to play out of their back end. LeBlanc and Fajeda having a chat over top of the ball about who will take this one. A real dangerous area here for Philadelphia Union. It'll be Fajeda curling it out wide, dropping right in front of Oscar Benitez, who couldn't get a touch off on it. A lot of traffic, and ultimately rolled out of play. Toronto able to come away unscathed, and now they will make two changes. Elias Kodri will come on. Daniel Stampatori will also come on. Bryce Bonneau will come off, as will Jamari Nolan, two players who have been involved in the attack for Toronto FC and manager Gianni Cimini. The last time these teams met in the season opener, Cimini felt like Toronto FC were the better team in the second half, especially in creating a lot of 1v1, 2v2 situations. This cut inside, DePaul going to goal, and instead hooking that one out of play. This portion of the match is brought to you by MasterCard, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC 2. One area that the aforementioned Cimini had wanted to see from his team is match the intensity of Philadelphia Union 2. They've been very intense since coming out in this second half. Early on, the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half, controlled by Toronto as this whipped ahead into the penalty area. But Toronto FC growing again into this half, whipped ahead once more. That considerably out of the reach of Fletcher Bank. Wouldn't be able to track that one in. Now the offside flag will come up, and Philadelphia's opportunity washed out. We saw it in the first half where Toronto, the Young Reds, were building out from the back. Yes, they did have few issues at times. There were some dicey moments for Toronto FC, but they moved the ball around with enough speed and intentionality as down goes Fortier, clutching his left ankle, which will draw a whistle from Yusri Rudolph. Toronto FC, they were able to move the ball around with enough speed and intentionality that it did dissuade Philadelphia from high pressing as often as they would like. And that is something that Gianni Cimini felt like was key tonight, is finding ways to soften up Philadelphia, not allow them to get into a defensive rhythm, which would pin Toronto back deep a lot. Right here in the center of your screen is what brought us to this stoppage. Oscar Benitez and Timothy Fortier just knocking into each other. Oscar Benitez was shown yellow for that foul. Yusri Rudolph, he has not been shy with the cards so far tonight. At the fourth Philadelphia Union player to be shown a yellow this evening in this fixture. Dixon out wide. Kodri shuffles past one, gets it over to Fortier. Looking for the switch now, finding Stampatori. Stampatori weaving to Bossenberry. Thrown back in by Toronto FC. Bossenberry goes down, but the official says get up and play on. Ferreira can't clear it. Intercepted by Fortier. Stampatori. Fortier. Toronto FC, they're bunching up a bit here. There's Kategi looking for the clearance and able to find it to take the pressure off at least for a moment. Mention the word rhythm from my conversation with Gianni Cimini. Toronto FC, this part of a 3-match homestand after spending their first 4 fixtures of the year on the road. And Cimini did say that while it is a pretty refreshed roster, essentially a brand new roster this year for Toronto FC with so many new faces or young players that didn't see a considerable amount of minutes last year, they don't always get the feeling in these first few home fixtures that you get that it is the friendly confines because players are still feeling their way out. But they did feel like it was a good opportunity having these 3 consecutive home matches to get into a bit of a rhythm. You get to sleep in your own bed, you get to train at your own facilities. Good interchange here. Griffin, though, just getting a bit too close to the touchline and running out of room. It'll be a throw in for Toronto FC. One player not on the bench tonight for Toronto FC as things start to look forward to the upcoming MLS match week. Richard Chukwu, who became the 58th Toronto FC Academy player to sign with Toronto FC 2 last week. Signed to an MLS Next Pro contract from the Toronto Academy. He was on the bench against FC Cincinnati in the club's 1-1 draw with the Garys last match week. Not with this team today. Have to imagine he might be on the bench again for Toronto FC come this weekend. They are in action tomorrow at home here in Ontario against Austin FC, who out of the Western Conference are coming off a tough U.S. Open Cup fixture. They were cup set, knocked out of the tournament by Lou City. This left off, pinball toward goal. Goes sailing out of play, and it will be a corner 1. This is more of what Philadelphia Union 2 have been looking for from their attack. The cut back over to LeBlanc, just stepping in front of that was Omorgbe to deflect it out. It will be a corner for Toronto. Rather for Philadelphia. Misspoke. First corner of the second half for either team. Philadelphia had a couple looks on corners in the first half. It'll be LeBlanc. Swung in, headed down by Davis. We get a whistle, and that will end things. Been a frustrating contest so far if you're Philadelphia Union. The amount of time that they have spent in the Toronto FC attacking end of things. Right now they're plus 25 in terms of passes completed, and the opposition have 100 for Philadelphia. They've held Toronto to just 75. But since going up that goal, courtesy of the own goal in the 35th minute, the Young Reds, they have still maintained that lead, looking to play DeMar Dixon through. Sequeira able to beat him to the punch. And now work it forward. LeBlanc, that's a good ball ahead. Neon Hassan playing it into space. Here's LeBlanc joining the attack. Out wide, Ferreira. Ferreira going for it. And Philadelphia have their first shot on target. It's saved by De Rosario. Appleton had to be careful, was a little casual with it on the touchline. He does turn it over. It's Davis now. Davis pass across the area out of the reach of LeBlanc. That is where Bank will take things over for Toronto. A short-lived possession though. Turnover. Hassan goes down. It will be a whistle, and it's another free kick. Springing to life is the Philadelphia Union attack these last 5 minutes. Neon Hassan doing a lot of heavy lifting in that attack. Had a shot he set up from LeBlanc earlier. And now here, winning the ball back high on that aggressive press, driving into space and putting Toronto FC in a bad spot, forcing them into a foul. Another free kick here for Philadelphia Union. This is the third in the attacking half over the last 17 minutes for the visitors from Chester, PA. Wall forms in front of the duo of Ferreira and LeBlanc. It'll be LeBlanc, stopped by De Rosario, and out for a corner. Philadelphia trying to move quickly with this corner, and a quick look at it shows Kellen LeBlanc's effort to help set them up. Really growing into his role here in this season with Philadelphia Union 2. As Theo Reed, the Union Academy man, will come on his second appearance of the season. LeBlanc will come off after setting Philadelphia up with this corner. It'll be Ferreira to take it. Ferreira's service, driven out, headed by Benitez toward goal, but high of that bar and out of play. Try as they might, Philadelphia still cannot slot one past Adisa De Rosario. De Rosario minutes ago coming up with his first save of the night off the LeBlanc effort, and play is back underway. It's been a fascinating tactical chess match to watch between these teams. They're two clubs who are just so organized defensively. As Bank able to knock that ball free, put it forward to DeMar Dixon, who's dispossessed. Oscar Benitez, he's dispossessed. Now Bank in toward goal, tap toward the area, and out of play. Off the boots of Kodri, the Frenchman. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ritz, proud sponsor and fan of Toronto FC2. Offside flag comes up as Eddie Davis a bit too early into the attack. Benitez will head it back along. As where Sappleton knocks it forward, glancing header ahead from Fortier. Neither team able to settle in on possession right now. That ball does pop free. Hassan rolls it down the outside channel. Here's Ferreira on the flank. Ferreira looking for the cutback. Union 2, they've just not been on the same page so far tonight when getting into that final third. They've tried that cutback pass, expecting a teammate to be there like they typically are, and it's just been a bit too early. Man, it's been a step too slow to get to it. That has led to some of the offensive frustrations tonight for Ryan Richter's bunch. They have run their total in shots, though, to 10, 2 on target, out-chancing Toronto FC right now, who is still frozen on the one shot on target. This ball over the top, racing in behind. It's Kodri, stopped by Holbrook, and he corrals the rebound in. An excellent save from Philadelphia's netminder. That's one thing we haven't seen a lot from Toronto FC tonight, that ability to get vertical and break lines. Showcase that against Crown Legacy this season. They've been a decent team in terms of long ball completion percentage, 15th out of 30 in MLS Next Pro. We're going to whistle here for a stoppage, and this almost made it 2-0 Toronto FC 2. Kodri stopped by Holbrook as play is back underway. Here's Ferreira operating on the left. Tries to corkscrew this in. Bostonberry, no choice but to put that out of play. Concedes the throw into Philadelphia. Sakata looking for the throw in toward the 18. There was a collision off that aerial duel, and we do get a whistle for a stoppage. Toronto FC, these last 10 minutes, they have been content, other than the effort from Kodri that was parried away by Pierce Holbrook. They've been content to absorb pressure from Philadelphia. Ferreira ahead. DePaul plays it into space. That is where Griffin will track it down. Griffin slips it ahead. Here's Eddie Davis at the byline. Davis straddling that stripe. Now Griffin flashed to the back post. Fell right in front of Neon Hassan. Couldn't get a touch off on it, though. Bank was just dribbling right around defenders who were going down. Ultimately turned over. Tried to take one too many on. Ferreira. And now it's Toronto FC's turn to go forward with it. Black will stay down. A good early ball ahead. Still Toronto now, trying to carve the opening as Kodri gives it up. It's Dixon. Dixon dispossessed. Fortier will pick it up, though. Omorgbe. Over to Stampatori. Now to Bank. Really, when both teams get into the final third, and in terms of true proper build-outs, it's almost been a mirror image. Both teams defensively, when they've slid into their low block, it's just been impossible for the opposing attack to have any space to create, any space to move. They were able to keep that ball in, Toronto was, but it's turned over. Ferreira up ahead. Hassan, he was able to give it up. Now from distance, falling while striking it was Sequeira. knocked out of play, and it will be a Philadelphia Union throw. Time continuing to tick away on Union 2's chances of getting back into this contest. They really in the second half have been the better team. 5 shots, 2 shots on target, and they have spent the lion's share of this second half in the attacking half of things. Back they are on the Toronto half of the pitch, but Sequeira slipping, and Bank, that is where he will take over possession for the Young Reds. Mentioned at the top of our broadcast, no Malik Jakupovic tonight for Ryan Richter and company. Philadelphia Union, the first team in action against DC United tomorrow at home at Subaru Park. 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Be so interesting to see who gets into that contest for Bradley Carnell's bunch. Trying to put some positive momentum together at the MLS level. They come off the win against CF Montreal. They're going to make it back-to-back victories. Meanwhile, Philadelphia Union 2, they're trying to put some positive momentum together that they've had here in this second half and get 1 goal past Adisa de Rosario. Connecting with Sequeira, out wide with Sundstrom. Now lifted in, it falls to Theo Reed. There is a whistle, though. A look at it again. This is a well-placed ball here from Gio Sequeira. The offside flag did not come up, and it was just that little push from Theo Reed. Getting both hands up on the back of Sappleton. I said it earlier in this half. This has been a tightly officiated contest, and through large stretches, large junctures of the match, both these teams have struggled to adapt to said tight whistle. Stampatori, his ball whistling through. Turned away by Philadelphia. Still on it, though, is Toronto. Driven ahead, running forward, looking for it was Nihan Hassan. He's been a real catalyst offensively in this second half and really all night for Philadelphia. Wins it back. Steered ahead to Davis via Sequeira. Now back wide. Hassan. Ferreira. He'll stand this cross up again. No one flashing to that back post, and out it goes. Toronto FC will make another change, their 4th of the night, as Cheyenne Pinnock will come on. 4th appearance of the season for the Toronto FC Academy forward, just 17 years old. Fortier trying to come out of a crowd with it, instead coughs it up. Sequeira able to swing it over to Griffin. Griffin ahead, here's Ferreira. That's support building on that overlap to his left. Elected not to go to it. Dribbles out of space and plays it over to Sequeira. Sequeira's ball in, headed away by Kapoor. Not a deep enough clearance as Fletcher Bank will turn and fire that one away. Headed along by Kodri. Clearance from Chisholm. Blocked out. But it falls across the end line off the back of Nihan Hassan. And Adisa de Rosario will have a goal kick You can see just how much that meant to Micah Chisholm, the 20-year-old native of Ontario. Toronto FC, they can feel it. Minutes away from securing what would be a massive win for the Young Reds. Should this result hold for Toronto FC, it thrust them into a tie points-wise for 9th in the table with Orlando City B with 8 points. First, though, to get through these last couple of minutes, Philadelphia, they've been knocking all second half long. Ball goes out. It will be a corner here for Philadelphia late. As we close in on second half stoppage time here in the Greater Toronto area, the GTA, which has been the site of a real delightful contest so far tonight. Hassan will trot over for the short option. It'll be Fajeda to take. William Fajeda whips it, back stick, headed down by Benitez. Second ball served in, falling in front toward DePaul. Now Hassan, 3 minutes of stoppage time. Griffin fires it back through the middle, hacked away by Toronto, who's looking to break out. They have numbers if they move. Good ball out wide. Kodri able to find Bank. Now looking for the switch back over. A bit too close to Holbrook, who will claim that and roll it out. Fajeda looking for the crafty pass back to DePaul, a bit too crafty, and it finds the end line. Play back underway. Worked up ahead to Griffin. Looking to carve an opening is Fajeda, just overrunning the ball and coughing it up. 90 seconds of the 3 allotted for second half stoppage time already gone. Fajeda cancels the would-be cross. Now Fajeda goes sliding down. This will be a whistle here from Yusri Rudolph. Fajeda had lost his footing here and ends up colliding with Stampatori. William Fajeda shown yellow at the end of it. You see Yusri Rudolph there hovering, waiting for Fajeda to get back to his feet, and ultimately handing out the yellow. It took some time for Gianni Cimini's bunch at the start of the season because of the newness and the fact that they had a split preseason. Did not get a lot of time to train together. You had players, a significant portion of this roster with the first team away from the Toronto FC second team's preseason camp, cut into their ability to gel with one another. But these last 3 matches starting to turn the corner and look like the dangerous team that Toronto FC and Gianni Cimini believe they can be. There is the whistle, and it's unbeaten in 3 for Toronto FC. A 1-0 win over Philadelphia Union 2. Union 2 keep the clean sheet for the 3rd time in 2026, courtesy of tonight's Man of the Match presented by Adidas. Adisa de Rosario, his 11th career clean sheet, his 2nd appearance of the season for the Young Reds. parrying shots away left and right, stonewalling Philadelphia Union 2, and it's Toronto who take all 3 points. Second win in their last 3 matches, and they hang on 1-0. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Jake Griffith. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com. And OneFootball, good night from the GTA.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.